if you're trying to figure out the way to actually charge and the way to actually get what you're worth, stay tuned, because in this video, I'm going to break down pricing strategies and how to get paid what you're worth. So let's get into it. So I do want to start off by saying thank you all for the love on the last video. This is going to be a series I have on the channel where I basically talk about the beginning of creating an entrepreneurship model with your business. So I can't give you a one-size-fits-all answer, but I can guide you with a framework that can adapt to different situations, whether it's the type of project, your experience level, or the market that you're in. Now, before we get into the pricing models, as well as different things, I want to make some disclaimers. There are things that you should definitely avoid. Never quote prices instantly, because the thing with this is that some people are opportunists. So if you quote, hey, usually I do videos for like 500, but they want you to go in and out the city and you're wasting gas money, losing your profit. It's not good to do that. So always ask for the details of the project first, including the scope, locations, and the deliverables. And then I say, okay, I'm going to get back to you with a quote. Another thing I will say, it's good to not just have one tier of pricing. If you're pricing weddings, for example, don't give a flat price. Instead, offer bundles, such as $1,500 for the ceremony and reception, or $2,000 to include the preparation for the full package. It's best to give clients options. One of the things I've done, when I first did my first wedding, I charged $2,000. They told me that they wanted the preparation, ceremony, and reception. So I said, okay, let's do 2,000. They said, hey, can we meet you at 1,400? Like, we'll just take out the preparation. That's a way that you can charge more, so you can fit well with different people's budgets, because not everybody may have that money to spend. You have to bundle things together so that people can see, oh, okay, I see what I'm paying for, and I see it's worth it. So that's another thing to do. And lastly, always require a deposit before your shoot, and make sure you tell them that it is non-refundable. This protects you, but this 50%, for instance, let's say you charge 50% deposit, ensures that you're not wasting your time. You really have to protect yourself out here, and you have to be stern in what you're doing, because people will try to play you or try to get a one up on you. So let's get into the first model. So now we're going to talk about hourly pricing. And hourly pricing is best for short, small work. Hourly pricing is great for smaller jobs or when you're not sure about how much time the project will take. This ensures that you're paid fairly for every hour worked. Let's say you're a beginner and you charge $100 an hour for an event recap. So that's $200 for you getting there and shooting, as well as, let's say, another $200 for the editing, post-production, deliverables, things of that nature. That's where I would use hourly pricing, because it ensures that you're getting paid for that short amount of time, and they know how much each hour of you being there, that's how much it will be. So if they hypothetically were to go over, let's say you have 2 hours, $200 job, $100 an hour. Let's say you end up staying 4 hours there. Now you can charge them $400. It basically just gives a good overview to the exact time you're going to be spending there. So this is best if you're doing things such as freelance, especially for editing jobs. So it's simple, it's fair, but the cons on the other side, let's say you do $100 an hour and you do a shoot and you only spend an hour there, you only make $100. It's not really, you know what I'm saying? It's not really that much, because this stuff is expensive. So I would be cautious about when I actually use hourly pricing. When it comes to video, you can also charge day rates. Now, I usually charge a day rate if it's over possibly like 6 hours, because at that point I'm just going to charge a day rate. So when it comes to me just videoing and I'm going to send it off to an editor, or they have people where they're going to edit, day rates are great when you know that the shoot will last a set amount of time. For example, a 3-day shoot at $1,000 per day is pretty straightforward and easy to manage. The next model would be project-based pricing. This can go for music videos where there's a set rate on how long the project would be. This can be for weddings, corporate work, documentaries. With the project-based pricing, you charge a flat rate for the entire project, which includes the scope of work, the time spent shooting, post-production, and deliverables. So let's say, for instance, you're shooting a documentary. You say, okay, they say, hey, we have this person, we have them for 4 hours. How much do you charge? Okay, let's say $100 an hour. That's $400. That's one price. That's one price. Then you have Post-production, it's going to take me 6 hours to edit. Let's say you do another $100, that's $600. Now you're at 1,000. Then when it comes to deliverables, now you say, okay, one short form video, one long form video. Let's say you price them in a package, and that's also $1,000. I think I'm at 2,000, right? Something like that. So that's where you can charge a flat rate when you know exactly what you're getting into. This is what I use, especially for flat rate work, when I know exactly what the project entails and I tell the customer, okay, you told me all of this is how much money it's going to be to make this happen. So be clear with the client about what's included inside of the price. But you have to adjust this perfectly so that you avoid not losing money, because at the end of the day, you have to make a profit. So let's say if you have to rent out a studio, you have to rent different things such as lenses or lights, you include that all inside of your invoice, and then you set a flat rate, as well as you can add also gas or transportation. Then you set your flat rate, you send it over to them, and that way they can see exactly everything that they're about to pay for. You can then add stuff such as revisions, because a lot of people have revisions, so you can charge per revision, as well as you can talk about turnarounds. One thing I used to do was rush composing, if that makes sense, where essentially like, okay, you can pay to have it done within a shorter time, or if you're on a time crunch. This is a great way to charge for what you're doing. Now, the best model for long-term profit is basically this thing that we call retainers. This is a way that a lot of people can make, let's say for instance, $10,000 a month on 3 clients, because they're charging these clients a monthly fee, as well as tacking in different deliverables and whatnot to essentially produce content or shoot stuff for them every single month. This is a great way to actually make a consistent income. And this is how a lot of people make, how you see, oh, I make $10,000 a month, or I make $20,000 a month. 9 times out of 10, they're using a retainer, if not multiple retainers. So this is where clients pay you a fixed amount every month for ongoing work. It's best for social media content, corporate clients, YouTubers if you're doing editing, and it provides you a stable income, and it's easier to scale into, a lot of money. Now, the best way to get a retainer client is to first obviously find a client, let's say for instance, a lawyer, and they want to produce content every month. The best way to do this is to actually establish relationships and commitments with these people, because essentially you're trusting that they're going to pay you this fixed amount of income, as well as they're trusting you to push out this content every single month. This way you can shoot a load of content, and then from that break it up into parts, and they distribute it on their schedule. Retainer clients is the greatest way to make consistent money in this niche or in this business, but you really just have to be a personable person. You have to be somebody outside of the camera. You have to be a great communicator. You have to think of these people as, business partners rather than just clients, so that they can actually trust you with their money, as well as you can trust that they're gonna, actually pay you. You can charge more for pre-production and for actually taking the load off of them and planning, because a lot of people, they do pay for convenience. So for instance, I have a retainer client where I edit his YouTube videos if I can't shoot them. He usually shoots it, comes up with some of the ideas, and I, add my little 2 cents here and there. So I charge more for pre-production. But essentially, I make about $2,000 a month helping this person edit their YouTube videos. So he does long form content as well as a little bit of short form content here and there. But it's usually a set YouTube video, as well as maybe 2 or 3 postable content per video. So essentially we're getting around 6 social media videos as well as 3 YouTube videos. And that's from one person generating $2,000 a month. And this person right now, like, they're my dog. Like, we're pretty cool outside of the business sense. So that's how you establish relationships, as well as show that you can actually make quality content. Now, I understand that some people may be undercharging. So for instance, when I was in college, a lot of photographers / videographers, they were charging way below what was the norm in like a big city. So what I did first was to be competitive with the pricing. I charged a tad bit higher. So let's say for instance, they're charging $200 for a photo shoot. I would charge maybe $225. Take my photos, make sure my work looks way better than the competition, and from there I would scale it. I will say, do not charge low for a long amount of time, because over time, when you start charging different rates, people will look at it like, yo, I was just paying $225 for this. Why I gotta pay $400 now? Like they'll look at it like that. I was charging more than normal people, but the thing was that my quality showed for it. That's why I say you have to sit down, assess your competition, say, hey, what can I do better? Because a lot of people will charge low and mess up your business or your livelihood because they're charging low. The best thing to do is be competitive, match their prices, maybe just a tad bit higher, especially if they're really low. And then from there, show your value, show how you're different. So let's say, for instance, somebody in my area is charging $1,000 for weddings. If I'm relatively new to the area, let's say I charge $1,250. I go ahead, blow it out of the water, make it look crazy. One of the things I added was like a custom little box where, you know, it had like a flash drive or something where people can, you know, watch it, and it was, you know, nice and decorated. All you have to do is really show out. And as people say, oh, this guy's really legit, that's where you can increase your price as your demand increases. You also need to actually assess how much money you're going to make in profit. So you need to calculate how much it's going to cost to drive over there, and you have to add all those costs. Now, usually I don't add necessarily like a gas price. I usually just include that inside of the pricing because you don't want to bombard your client, especially if they're like, you know, a regular person with different things and different whatever. Because some people be like, oh, can we just take that out? Can we just take this out? You have to actually sit there and calculate every cost, because you don't want to come back being like, dang, my goal is to make $600 and I made $400 because I forgot to make them pay for X, Y, and Z. You have to add everything to your invoice. Speaking of invoices, I'm going to show you guys how to actually send invoices, or how to create invoices, and exactly how to send your client to show them, hey, this is what you're going to pay for. So there's different softwares, different websites, different things that you can use, such as like Honeybook, for instance, which is what I started out using to create invoices as well as track how much money you're making. But I personally switched to Stripe, and this is not sponsored. So I use Stripe as a payment method, or like a payment hub, to where people can check out online, as well as I can send invoices straight from Stripe, and it will show me how much I'm making, as well as all my different clients and what exactly, who has paid, who has not paid yet. It can send emails, create my invoices. So I personally use Stripe because of its ease of use. It has an app. It can help me keep track of my taxes, as well as I just really think it's the most convenient one I have. So if you don't want to do that, you can go ahead to my website, go to the store. I'm gonna give you guys a free invoice template that you can just download and you can just edit and whatnot. So let's make a mock invoice, for example. So let's say we're gonna send it to Jane Doe, right? So we're gonna make Jane Doe a customer. Let's say Jane Doe at, I don't know, myspace.com, right? So let's save that. We're gonna change our currency, USD. And now this is where we're going to add things such as our items. So let's say I would add my flight costs. So let's say travel flight costs. I would add that, quantity 1, and I would put, okay, let's say my ticket's gonna be $880. So this is what I would add for transparency to show them exactly what they're paying for. So I'll go ahead and save that there. Then I would add another item, which is, okay, you want me to come in and shoot 3 days of content. My day rate is $850. So let's say I go ahead and put, we're gonna add that as a new item. And let's say my day rate is going to be $850 per day. So $850, and there's 3 days. So we're gonna put quantity 3. So we're in day rate 3 days, and then boom. So that's $2,550. Let's go ahead and save that. So now you see we have our travel flight cost and our day rate saying that it's 3 days, which is $850. Okay, now let's say we're going to do post-production, which would be editing. Let's say it's hypothetically going to take me 6 hours to do so. So I'd put like this, 6 hours. Go ahead and set my invoice. Let's say I charge $100 an hour. So 600, go ahead and save that. Now, when it comes to deliverables, I usually talk with them and discuss, okay, what do you want? Do you want a long form video? Do you want some short form video? So let's say we say deliverable, and it's 2 social media videos. So we're gonna say deliverable 1, 2 social media videos. So let's say 2, and let's say, mind you, this is all just hypothetical. Let's say I say, okay, I'm going to make them, I don't know, let's say $250 each. And then let's say deliverable 2, 1x long form, let's say 5-minute video. And here I would put that one long form, let's say we just put that at 500. And then here you can, request your payment. Is it due in 30 days? Is it due in 90 days? Let's say I want it to be done in 45 days. Now, this is great right here for retainers. So you can auto charge the customer with the payment method on file. So you can go ahead and click this and, put in their card number. So every, let's say, month, it would charge $5,000 for instance. So that's why I like using Stripe. So let's just do auto charge. From here now, you can change how your invoice looks, the color. I kind of like to make mine look a little bit cute, but for the sake of this video, we're not going to do all that. But let's just save this, and essentially this is how I break down exactly what each video or each thing I'm doing is going to cost. So here you can just charge the customer, or you can send it off. You can send it off for a specific date. You can send your invoice. But essentially, this is how I would set it up. I would add my travel costs, include that. But if it's something really small, I just include it in, let's say, one of these things such as my day rate. I usually just include it in there. But if it's like something like a travel, where it's like a fat sum of money, I tend to show them, okay, this is how much it's going to cost me to get there. This is how much it's going to cost me to shoot for those set amount of days. It's going to hypothetically cost me 6 hours to do so. Then I have my deliverables, 2 social media videos, 1 long form video, and then you have your total here. So essentially that's how you can set up your invoices, as well as, now it comes into different things where it's like little add-ons, like you get 3 revisions. After the 3rd one, it's going to cost you $125 per revision, things like that. You just have to sit there and be very detailed, because you don't want to charge yourself too low and shoot yourself in your foot. Now on it, you want to make it look professional. You want to add things such as your business logo, your contact information like your email, phone number, website. You want to add your invoice number, your invoice date, when the client is supposed to have it due by, as well as the client's name or business name, the client's contact. And then at the end, you want to leave them like a nice note, maybe like, thank you for choosing Johnson & Johnson Media, pleasure to work with you, something a little nice. But also you can include things such as late fees. So let's say you agree, okay, we're going to take 30 days to finish this project. You can say, okay, but after that, if you don't send me my money in 35 days, it's going to be a set percentage late fee. You have to penalize them, because otherwise people will play with you. Because I have gotten mad at clients before because they try to play with me. But you have to keep in mind, like, you're a business, you have to be respectful, but you have to put your foot down in a respectful manner so that you can still have a business. So I'm thinking of creating a Patreon strictly for beginners, where I can teach you guys exactly how to use cameras, how to edit, and just, provide value. So let me know if you guys would want that. I'm not gonna charge crazy out the gate, but just, something small, because I really do want to help you guys. And for instance, I want to create one-on-one curated videos so that if you have a problem, I can just respond to you just like that. But essentially, thank you guys for watching. Please stay tuned for the next video, because I'm going to be talking about exactly how to create a stunning website as well as a portfolio. So you don't want to miss that. But let me know in the comments exactly which one works for you, which one you think is best, and any more questions that you have, just hit me up on Instagram or email me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm out.